That's a lot to do with. Controls
I thought it was asking for a tax increase in the car.
Almost got a nice one. First hand in the she had more leather than her last name. All of a sudden I hear a family gas out. Of course, I had the wallet to get first thing I did was anybody smoking or giving. This could get dangerous.
Well, I just love no one has failed. Thank you, Charlotte. We're going to take a vote. We're going to anybody already? Yeah, we're going to take a vote.
What is the,
Hey, if we keep Chesney's paying on top of yours, will you do it? Will you say?
You don't do anything either.
He don't do anything either, so.
Chesney's volunteers.
I may have you to do that tonight. We don't need to do that.
We'll call this meeting to order. Everybody rise, remove your hats. We have some very special guests with us tonight. Our future leaders are here. So I'm asking them to come forward. They're going to take care of the invocation and the pledge. Sheldon, you want to coordinate this for me, sir? These guys are your future leaders. Come on, guys. I'll get them up here. We like to see them. Thank you guys for being here. Absolutely, Sheldon.
Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we pause to thank you for all your many blessings and to thank you for the opportunity that we have to live in this community. We ask this evening that you be with this commission as they conduct the business of this county. We ask that you bless that business, and we ask that they make the decisions that are right for our county. And this we ask in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated.
Thank you,
First and foremost, I want to welcome everyone to the bi-monthly meeting of the Sequatchie County Commission. This Monday, every January, because of President's Day weekend, we meet on the third Monday of each bi-month. But in January, because of President's Day, a federal holiday, we meet by resolution on the fourth Monday. So we want to welcome everybody here. I want to thank my good friends from BTC Fiber for live streaming on YouTube. Ethan, give us the link while you're there. I never have you speak much, but
Okay, well now to share the specific link to this episode, a big long address, but just BTC Fiber on YouTube, and then it'll pop up that we're live right now.
Very good,
So.
very good. Well, we thank you guys for being here.
But I'll send you the link if you want to send it in the form of an email or a text to your group. I'll send the specific link to this video to you.
That'd be great. I don't know how many of these guys watch themselves, but maybe a little embarrassing for them sometimes. But thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Again, welcome everybody here, and Madam Clerk, first and foremost, roll call, please.
Linda Lewandowski. Here. Chester Shell.
Here.
Brian Ruling. Blaine Lane.
Here.
James Breland.
Here.
Brian Walker.
Here.
Joyce Dotson. Here. James Wilson.
Here.
Jeff Barger.
Here.
Paul Powell.
Here.
Michael Hudson.
Here.
June Dishman. Frank Silver.
Here.
Susie Bostic. Here. Wayne Clemens.
Here.
Tommy Johnson.
Here.
Tom Nero.
Here.
And Jeff Mackey.
Here.
Okay. We're going to declare a quorum. Commissioners, in your package, you should have received the minutes from the November 18th, 2024 meeting. I will now entertain a motion to approve said minutes. I have a motion from Mr. Powell. I have a second from Mr. Clemens. Any corrections, discussion, deletions? Ms. Linda?
Yes, so in section 18 under budget, Delta, where it talks budget committee about the property, the Williams Road property. Would like for clarity to amend the minutes to say this transaction was discussed by the commission, and it was noted that there are no specific future plans for the property's use.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, Linda, I'm behind.
Okay, this transaction was discussed by the commission, and it was noted that there are no specific future plans for the property's use.
No plans, that's correct.
Yes, just for clarity.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation for correction. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Mr. Shell. Any questions for clarity on this specific issue?
Well, I've got a question. We're gonna put this in the minutes for clarification. What was discussed at the meeting that said we didn't have future plan for that to build on to the hospital for the emergency medical services.
Well, I think I'll let her answer that. But
No, I'm just saying that that wasn't discussed at that last meeting. For clarity, this would imply that we discuss future plans the way it's written. What I'm saying is just change the language a little bit to reflect The discussion was
No, no
about no
future
future
plans.
plan. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Linda?
Yeah.
Okay, let me fix that.
I oppose
I
that.
understand what you're saying.
Does I wasn't at the meeting, does everybody on the budget committee agree that there was nothing discussed about future plans?
Well, there were certainly some things discussed about the future plans.
There is no
I mean,
specific future plan for the property to discuss.
We just need to let know that the minutes, that there was no future plans made for the property, right? Is that what we're saying?
There was no specific plans made. There was discussion.
Yes, there was a discussion.
And there was discussion about, I mean, it all depends on what Erlanger does, right?
Right.
So there was discussion about that, and the decision to move forward was at this time, right? Because this property might not be available when something does happen, because there's a lot of discussions going on around the hospital.
We bought this property in order to have options for the future. And a lot of those options were discussed. But to put into the minutes to say that we have no future plans with that
No
paints
specific-
a wrong picture
specific
as to
future
what's
plan.
going on with this, and I will oppose that amendment.
Anyone else?
Yes, I would.
Mr.
I
Ship.
correct it. You know, I did ask a direct question about this thing. And at the time, you said that we did not have no direct specific things for the property. But, you know, I didn't hear anything about no hospital or no bucket, nobody.
But it was discussed. It was
It may have been discussed, but I
The
didn't hear it.
expansion of the health campus is why we,
Call for the vote.
anyone else? Okay, all in favor of this amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, said that motion to amend hereby fails. Amend those minutes. Okay, and all else minutes are hereby approved.
Need to, point of order, need to go ahead and vote on this.
Okay, digressing back to
Yeah.
that, the minutes as written, we have a motion and a second. Any other corrections or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No.
Said minutes hereby pass. Thank you. Okay, we've got some folks at our public comments section. I would like for you guys to come on up. We spoke earlier about the road situations, and we've got several of them. They're all talking about roads, so I'm going to bring them all up at once, guys. And we're going to give each folks that speak a couple of minutes. We will be timely on this. I hope you guys read the format and some of the things going forward, so nothing personal, no personal attacks, or I'll shut you down. So go right ahead.
Hi, my name's Allison Good. I live in Dunlap. Just moved here a couple of years ago, but I also live on a road that has been negatively impacted by some construction. And when I say negatively, I mean some of the road's missing now. There's been so much truck traffic on Window Rock Road. And it appears that there's no one who's responsible but the county to repair these roads. And I don't think the county has the money to do these kinds of repairs. So first of all, I encourage you to pass, I think it's 800 and 801 tonight, so we can deal with future problems. But for tonight, I'd like to know, when are these roads going to get fixed and who's going to pay for it? Second road in my list is Henson Gap. My neighbor gathered 60 signatures of folks who'd like to have that fixed. And essentially, she's been told there's no money to fix these things. So in addition to 800 and 801, I think that we need another resolution, and I think we need to figure out where to get money to bring these roads back up to snuff. Because once they start going like this, pretty soon you don't have a road. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Good. Yes, sir.
My name is Jerry Street, and I live on Window Rock Road. I've been here about 2 years. My wife and I have 6 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren that live in this valley. I moved over here to be with them. I also live on Window Rock Road. We've had a case where that they built a new transformer yard up there on the corner, across from the dump there, and they had, I counted 35 trucks that come across our road. I live at the end of the pavement on Winter Rock. It becomes a dirt road. It's not a county road. It's an access road for people that live up there. They have torn our road all to pieces. I don't know. I guess I could ask questions. Anybody up there looked at it at all? They have any idea you have? It is torn pretty bad, and the sides are even getting worse. And I live on the dirt end of it, and they just destroyed it. They've got all kinds of mud holes, and I've got some almost ditches that they pushed over on my property there. I own the middle of that road. It is not a county road, and I want to know when it's going to be fixed. I was told. Let me go back. I went down to the switch yard down there and talked to the people that was doing the construction, and went out and asked them for their insurance and their company and their bonding company, because the road was torn up so bad. And so they led me through the line of progression to talk to their supervisor, and I did talk to him. He got back with me, and he talked to me. He talked to Mr. Cartwright, and Mr. Cartwright said that the trucks had torn up that it would be fixed. Now, I was told it was going to be fixed by Thanksgiving, but that didn't happen.
Who told you that?
The guy the supervisor there at
That hauling wasn't done at that time, was it? That road wouldn't, I mean, we hauled, the deal that Mr. Higgins and I talked about was that dirt needed to settle. Eric, I don't know where he's at. But
I'm right here.
That dirt needs to settle. We'll go in and grade that. That's for a county piece of property.
Yeah.
But we will fix that road. And Ms. Good, to answer your question, who pays for that? The county pays for that through the highway department, but Grove helps pay for that. Now, I've made a commitment to watch over that road, and I'm saying it publicly, we will take some special attention to that road. We bought a strategic piece of property for our communications tower out there. That piece specifically where you're at. And I want to tell you, Mr. Street, thank you for doing a lot of our infrastructure with power and those sort of things out there. It's money that you spent of your private capital that the taxpayers won't have to spend. But I'm saying that too. And I recognize the commitment you've made in dollar-wise, capital-wise, so thank you.
Well, we want our community to be, we've got a good community, by the way. There's several of them here. They're good people.
Give us till the summer, and I'm just saying this public, give us a little time. We've got a plan. That dirt needed to settle and work. Eric, am I saying anything?
And you're talking about Chester, so I'm going to go back to this. I would really like that. I would like to come up with a plan and say, hey, and let everybody know, make it public. We're going to do this, and give us a date of when it's going to be done. There can be some leeway there if you have some time.
Yeah.
I understand all those things,
Sure.
such things, but give us and start being just totally honest with us. Hey, we don't have the money yet, or we're going to try to get the money here, whatever it is. But we all live up there, and it just gets bad.
Well, I don't think we're trying to be dishonest.
Oh, no, I don't think
This is as public on television as you can get.
I understand.
We're not avoiding nothing.
No, I realize that. I'm just saying, don't let it ride on forever and ever, because the road is, not only that, it's torn up even more. And with the snow and ice done, they went up there and scraped it and kind of cleaned it up.
And I specifically hear you, so Eric and I will work on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add one thing. I did talk to the contractor that hauled the dirt out there. He's committed to bringing a trackhoe and some dump trucks, whatever we need when we start cutting up the places in the road that have wallered. And we're gonna go in and repair those first. I'll use some geofabric, rock, and so forth. And then once we get that, make sure it's settled down and stuff, and I'll have to get with Keith, and we'll have to try to find out before we come up with some money to go in and finish. But as far as fixing the bad rough areas, we're gonna work on that just as soon as the weather gets a little better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Street.
Excuse me, may I ask if this includes Winter Rock and Hudson Gap, where the electrical construction has gone on?
What I'm talking about specifically is Window Rock. The road going up and down Henson Gap is closed through traffic, and until we can, Chester and them's fully aware, we've got to find some money somewhere, because you're looking at about a $500,000 plus fix to do that road. And that's more than my entire fixed budget for about 3 or 4 years. Right. So, I mean, but if we can come up with some money or something somewhere, I'm more than glad to work on it.
We're cognizant of it, we're working on it.
Yeah, and we're going to work on some of the potholes and stuff as soon as the weather turns better, okay?
Keith, is this just public comment, or this isn't discussion on this?
No, it's public comment, yes.
Craig McCauley. We've been in Dunlap for 4 years now, and we live on Goose Creek Lane. So every day we get to pull out of off our road and go down Henson Gap, and both ways there's red lights, and we're getting new water main in, but I don't know how much of that we're going to be able to use. I don't know, is that for Sequatchie County use, or is that all Bledsoe?
Well, Northwest is the utility district.
Okay.
The county isn't in the water business. So
Okay.
let me state that. We have no control over that. They received some grant money that the county, it flows through the county to give them
Okay.
to improve that line. Have you spoke to, Linda, what's the guy? Adams, Charlogger. I could, if you will come by my office, I'll give you his contact number. We'll call him. Linda, I guarantee he's got him on speed dial. So speak with her, and but we will try to facilitate anything we need to do. I know that the line was to connect to Bledsoe. They're on the same utility district. But just to be clear, the county is not in the water business. We facilitate through an infrastructure funding plan. So I'm just, and this is public comment, I don't want to get into discussion here, but if you'll come by the office, we can sit down and you can meet with Linda and Chester. They're very aware. Come by and see me, and we'll make a few phone calls together.
Okay. My second point is we live on Greenbrier, and in 2020 when Gary was the commissioner, we signed paperwork, and Greenbrier and Goose Creek was supposed to be getting taken over by the county.
Taken care of tonight, I think.
Okay.
Greenbrier was taken over a year ago, I think.
Yes.
Because we paid part of it, we paid
Yeah.
the worst part, and then the plan is this year is to finish paving the rest of it. But since Goose Creek is coming in, I need to kind of finish them both at the same time.
Wonderful. Thank y'all for what you do.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley.
My name is Eric Chastain. My wife Emily and I own a regenerative farm up on Lewis Chapel Mountain right behind the community center, and I know that a lot of people, at least at the community meeting here, have been talking about the roads, and there's been a lot of rumors about putting in zoning restrictions throughout Sequatchie County, and I just want to reiterate what Chairman Cartwright said, that growth is what's going to allow for money to be able to fix the roads, and that a lot of people that moved up here or moved to Sequatchie County more recently don't really want the type of restrictions that a lot of the neighboring counties have, such as Hamilton County. For instance, when my wife and I moved to Tennessee a little over 3 years ago, we were looking at Chattanooga and realized that you had to have at least 5 acres just to own chickens in the city of Chattanooga at the time. I think they've since relaxed that, but it's rare that a government gives back a liberty once they've taken a government. And a lot of times we tend to look at government for the answer, the solution to our problems, and generally the solution is keeping the government out of the way so that we can take care of ourselves. And so as we're going forward with thinking about how the county's going to grow, I just want to reiterate to you guys as the commissioners to don't infringe on people's freedoms in trying to put restrictions. I have a farm up there. I don't like that there's businesses that are across the street that have, grocery bags that blow into my, yard every day. But, the Dollar General has a right to be there. And if someone, puts a gas station across from me, they have a right to do that because, we want to live in a free country. So that's really what I wanted to say. And
thank you, Mr. Chastain. Thank you folks for coming and voicing your opinion. When I walked in tonight, that flag was still flying. So as long as that's flying, you'll have the opportunity to speak publicly. So thank you for voicing your grievance. All right, moving forward. Okay, as far as making part of the public record, I have the trustees report here from Larry Lockhart, trustee, Madam Clerk. Let's make that part of the minutes. Sheriff, I see you sitting over there. Come on up and give your report, sir.
I got a really quick one tonight. I've just got a report on, since we closed out the 2024 cases, Wanted to give a quick report on our internal affairs cases that we had for the year. So we initiated during 2024 4 internal affairs investigations. The first one was an official misconduct or investigation of official misconduct and conduct unbecoming. After an investigation on that, it was found that all of that alleged activity was unfounded. So that case was unfounded. We had another investigation on a firearms discharge investigation, which turned into, before the end of the investigation, a failure to cooperate with an investigation. There was, I gave an option of resignation prior to me handing down the decision at the disciplinary hearing, and that employee chose to resign. So that one ended in resignation. We then had another case on conduct unbecoming. That case resulted in resignation as well, just voluntary, before we even had a hearing scheduled. And then our fourth and last case was a conduct unbecoming and untruthfulness case, and that case ended in termination. So that was the 4 cases that we initiated in 2024 and the outcome of those. We also closed 1 case in 24 that was actually a 23 case, and that was an investigation on a use of force policy alleged, or we were investigating to see if there was any violation. It turned out there was no violation of the use of force policy, but there were some underlying things that we found, and for that I ordered that employee's chain of command to issue a reprimand, and then also to schedule remedial training in the area of that. Aside from that, we're just still, doing the daily thing, and still working on the drugs. And one thing I will say on the drug front is that what we're finding now is, for the first year and a half or so, we were making some pretty large busts at several locations, and more recently, what we're finding is much, much smaller amounts of drugs in one location. So that's a plus on the drug front. It's not a victory dance. As long as we have addicts, we will have drugs. But we see improvements on the drug front, and that will be a continued effort, obviously. So that's all I've got for now. Any questions?
Any questions for the sheriff?
Is the K-9 program coming on?
The K-9 program, the one on the streets or the one in the jail?
The new dog we got off the mountain?
Yes, Gator. Yeah, he is out on the streets. He still is in some levels of training, but is very active, and we're glad to have him.
And what about the one in the jail?
One in jail's doing really good. He's that's an inmate therapy program that we initiated. We went over and looked at a model program that McMinn County does. They've actually got like 5 dogs in their jail, and or they did when we were there. So we started out slowly with 1 dog, and what we used it for was when we found a dog on Facebook that they couldn't get a home for, we would bring it in and just give it a place to be inside for a little while. We teamed up with a lady with, I think it's East Tennessee something animal rescue or whatever it is. So she comes in, her organization pays for all the shots, pays for food, brings food for the animal, and then she puts it out for adoption. And we've adopted 1 dog off. We got another dog after that, and that dog was very quickly found to not be suitable to be in that environment, so we had to remove him. And then we have this dog now that came in, And he's been so good that I actually took him off the list for adoption, so he's our permanent pet. So.
Adoption failed.
Yeah. So that program's going really well.
Sheriff, you got the jail full?
The jail is always over full.
Do we need more cells?
We have to have more cells. Yeah. Absolutely.
Got room for you down there, Frank, though.
Thank
We
you.
always make room.
Thank you, Sheriff. We appreciate it. Ms. Pierce, Sequatchie County School System.
I will also be very brief because I get to join you for part of your retreat in the coming days. We'll spend more time together then. I want to give public thanks to the Highway Department and Eric Hughes who are taking care of us, specifically bus routes, so we can get the children back in school. Speaking of that, you're going to see in the Tribune this week that we have 3 stockpile days remaining for the school year. We're in better condition right now than we were a year ago, so we'll manage those. It is School Board Appreciation Week, so I hope that you will recognize the 9 people that serve on our school board and take care of our students and staff. I'm thankful for their service. Speaking of therapy dogs, our first ever in the school system, Sailor, she will make her entrance. She's been training, she's about to graduate, and she will enter the middle school this week for parents who've given consent. We're really, really excited about that. Today we took a maiden voyage of our first ever propane bus, so we're excited about that. Our school board members are going to experience that later this week too. My eyes are on the special called legislative session, particularly with school vouchers and how that's going to impact us. A lot of people ask my opinion on it. Certainly I am not in favor of vouchers. And I will say that I think we have to be so competitive and we should be such a good school system that people don't want to go somewhere else. So that's my goal, to make us so good, in fact, that nobody wants to send their kids elsewhere. I want to invite you all to our Career Expo. It's a really robust. I think you'll love it. A lot of you came last year. Please stop in. That'll be April 2nd at the high school. I have a little handout here for you and happy to take questions.
Any questions for Sarah? Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. Eric, I'm not overlooking you, but I'm going to push you down toward the back so we can segue into new business with a road report from the road committee.
I got time to go to the bathroom?
You got time. You got time. Okay, Mr. Bonero with audit, please, sir.
So we had our audit committee meeting today, talked about a few issues which will come up really in budget, but obviously our main call is always to be about the audit report, and we just learned today, this afternoon, past our meeting, that the letter came in, that so the audit report should be available to the public by tomorrow afternoon. Typically it's a day or two after we get the letter, so there's nothing really to report from the audit committee standpoint today, other than a couple items that the state auditor recommended, but I think Chairman Barger will address that during our budget presentation.
Any questions for Mr. B? Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it. Sheldon with Ag, anything else to add to?
Yes, a couple of
report,
things.
Youth leadership.
Provided you with a printing copy that kind of highlighted last year's programs. And since I prepared that report Thursday, last week we sent 8 4-H'ers to the multi-county sub-region public speaking contest. We had 8 total. One of our senior high is advancing to the regional contest, which is Saturday. We also had a second place with one of our 8th graders. So since I've prepared the report, we've had some 4-H'ers succeed in the public speaking contest, which is not an easy contest to do. So unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, Sheldon. We appreciate the fine work you're doing, and especially with these young people. So thank you again for being here. Okay, up next, JP with veterans. Jim Patterson. I should call you JP, yes.
So what you have is the annual report. As you see, we did pretty well. Did more office visits, more claims, and more appeals than last year. I'm currently taking a class that was voted on at the last meeting to add a couple of accreditations. Let's see. Also, since Nobody from the post is here. I'm going to brief the building improvements. The awning has been installed, the flooring has been installed, the sign is half working. We have to run a new circuit to be able to power both sides of it. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that. So, any questions for me?
Thanks for all you do, Mr. Patterson. We certainly appreciate it. I know the veterans in this county certainly appreciate your dedication. A lot of hard work has gone into that.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. All right. Dr. Pickett, I see you in the audience. Any words for Battlesfield?
Yes, we are continuing. Actually, tomorrow night there will be, or tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock, a meeting of the Entertainment Committee. The General Committee is meeting. I don't know, Ms. Basham, she's here. She might clue us in on that a little bit more. Arlene?
Our next meeting's February the 4th.
February the 4th. It's an open meeting. It's all for volunteers, and we'd love to have people join us. There's always plenty to do. Do you want to do the strategic now or later?
You can briefly.
Okay. Everybody has a copy. If they don't, you can pick them up. Look at it as the template. It is really the outline, the beginning. We've gathered a lot of information from the developmental district. We hope to be at the retreat to get information. So it'll be a second draft, third draft, whatever it takes to get it to the final form. But it's going to be from 5 to 10 years has grown tremendously. So there's going to be a lot more than you see on the first couple of pages. It's really a template at this point.
Any questions for Dr. Pickett? Thank you, Winston. We appreciate it. I see the chamber's present. Ms. Janice?
Thank you, guys. We're doing lots of things in Sequatchie County. When I say we, I'm talking about we. First of all, we're keeping the 3-star certification going, which allows for y'all to get discounts when you buy things through the state. We have grants that we've already paid for, do signage throughout the states. One of the things that we're going to sign are some of the cemeteries and the historical and cultural things, such as Stone Cemetery, that wasn't even listed on the historical cemeteries in Tennessee. Because y'all read about William Stone. Senator Haggerty was here and visited Manhummel, called and said, where can we go for workforce development? And talked to somebody, so he spent a day at Manhummel. You probably noticed from the 1st of December through Christmas, we did Santa's Village in the parking lot at the chamber. We had Santa there on the weekends. We had over 900 people sign in, and we drew for bicycles, and Jack's provided family meals each week for that. We're always promoting shop local. Spend your money here, keep the tax dollar here. We have the cruise in, the vintage cars, it's the second Saturday of each month. It'll start again in April. So come and do that. It's in the parking lot at Citizens Tri-County Bank and the Chamber. We're going to focus a lot on our history and our culture, because as more people come in, I want them to know who we are instead of us becoming where they come from. So this next year you're going to see us focusing. I'm going to call on all of y'all about culture and history, and so people know our roots, that we have Native American roots, the Civil War, the Trail of Tears, that who we are. So we'll work on that. Thank you. If we can do anything to help you, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. One new guy that's here, I'm going to introduce Tennessee's ECD Fellowship guy, Will Rice. Will, putting you on the spot. Any good words? Will's such a valued asset helping everybody around, but introduce yourself. Tell us much what you're doing for us free.
Absolutely. So for those of y'all that I haven't met, my name's Will Rice, like Executive Cartwright was saying. I'm basically assigned to work in the Sequatchie Valley, so I work in Bledsoe and Grundy as well, but Sequatchie County to work on anything related to economic and community development. So really excited, learning lots of stuff from Dr. Pickett and Janice and Executive Cartwright. But yeah, just happy to make a good positive impact on the community. Enjoy being here.
We appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir.
Thank you, Will. All right. Let's move on forward. 911's got a conference going on that I'll be attending later this week. Is anybody here from 911 on the board? Anything to report? Everybody's gone to the conference.
Can I
Yes,
say one
Jess.
thing that I just forgot? Commissioner Ed Nunley is being recognized on the 16th of February to receive the Governor's Gold Star Award for service. So that'll be at the Marriott in Franklin. I know Executive Cartwright and myself and Ed's wife Susie has agreed that she will go and receive the award. So I mean, that's an honor for Sequatchie County.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, JD with Puckett, come on up. I think you've got a special presentation that you're going to be making. So,
yes, sir.
Joe Dunn.
So just a brief update. One, last week we started our EMT Academy for 2025. We have 9 students in there. So here in about 10 to 12 weeks, they'll be done with EMT school. They can go on and take their national registry test and work as EMTs. We also have 2 paramedics that are in Life Force's critical care program. One, Tucker Shelton out of Chattanooga, and then Nick Holt from here in Dunlap. So they should be finishing here in just a few months. We'll be hosting some training here soon with Sequatchie County Rescue. We'll be doing some training and a renewal CPR class with them. We are also looking at doing a CPR class for several of their individuals. If you're interested, please reach out to me or Michael Scoggins and we'll get you invited to it. It'll more than likely be a Tuesday or Thursday evening, correct?
Correct.
So if you're interested in getting your CPR license, never had it before, it's something we can do. It'll probably be in the middle of February. Also, I have to give a kudos to the Highway Department and the county back on February 10th during all that snow. Kudos to those guys. It was a major help, especially after 111 got shut down. We'll be starting an overdose leave behind kit. What that is something that we started with the state and the county. When we show up as somebody that's overdosed, we'll be leaving these kits behind, hoping that they will go into a program to get help. It also provides them Narcan, trying to do some more stability in our community. It's something we're doing here in Sequatchie and in Marion County. And then last but not least, I wanted what we were about to talk about. Back on January 10th, everybody remembers it was the awful snow day. We got called for a CPR in progress or a difficulty breathing initially up on Signal Mountain on the Sequatchie County side. Before we could get up there, we asked for Lone Oak to respond. Lone Oak got out there well before we could and started doing CPR, advised what was going on with the patient. They expedited our decision to get there, work the individual. It was an 80-something-year-old male that actually got ROS, which is the return to spontaneous circulation. So it's quite amazing what these guys can do when they can get there quick. So in order to recognize them, they just started back up in October and they hit it hot and heavy. So they reached out about our jump bags and I was like, I'll be more than happy to make sure y'all get some of these jump bags. If I can borrow Andrew, Mr. Johnson, Wayne, if I can borrow you for a minute. Chris, you'll come up. These are the same ones we use on the truck. And we went ahead and outfitted them similar to ours. So we actually have some training going on with Lone Oak here in a few weeks. So Andrew, get over here with us, buddy. If you don't mind, yeah. I appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Andrew,
thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Is that it? Any questions for Joe? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Michael Scoggins with the Rescue Squad. Anything you want to share with us tonight?
No, sir, we're good.
All right, very good, very good. Mr. Barger.
Yes.
Budget Committee.
So, Chairman, Commission, audience members, The Budget Committee did meet this evening at 5:30, and we had a few transfers to go over and had some other discussions. So we'll move forward with the transfers. The first transfer, it should have been in your packets. This is a transfer from fund 39,000 fund balance, a sum total of $392,225, and that's transferring to 51-100-715 land acquisitions, that same amount, $392,225. And this was a motion from the Budget Committee.
You've heard the motion. Do I hear a second? I've got a second from Mr. Powell. Any questions, discussions, or comments? Hearing none, because it exceeds $5,000, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Linda Lewandowski.
Yes.
Chester Shell.
Yes.
Brian, James Freeland.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Joyce Dotson.
Yes.
James Wilson.
Yes.
Jeff Barber.
Yes.
Paul Powell.
Yes.
Michael Hudson.
Yes.
Frank Silver.
Yes.
Susie Bostic.
Yes.
Wayne Clemens.
Yes.
Tommy Johnson.
Yes.
Tom Manero.
Yes.
And Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
The motion hereby passes. Mr. Barber.
All right, the next item that the Budget Committee transfer that the Budget Committee talked about. Now, this one was not in your packet. We will probably need a 5-day rule waiving from the full commission.
Motion, Mr. Breland makes the motion, Mr. Powell makes the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, said 5-day rule is hereby waived. Mr. Barber.
All right, the second transfer, and it came in today. It was a transfer from budget line item 51,500,349, a sum total of $600, and moving that to budget line item 51,500,162, which is a payroll line. This is movement within Election Commission's budget. It's not new monies or anything like that, but because it is touching a payroll line item, the Budget Committee and the Commission must approve it. And this came as a motion from the Budget Committee to approve this transfer.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second from J. Mack. Any questions, discussions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, transfer is hereby passed. Mr. Barber.
All right. That concludes the transfers that we did. The next item that the Budget Committee considered was Sequatchie County Highway Department surplus list. There was one item on the surplus list, and this came as a motion from the Budget Committee to approve this item. It's a 2019 Chevrolet 3500 4x4 dump truck. And that was a motion from the Budget Committee to
Do I hear a
approve
second?
surplus.
Have a second. Because this limit probably exceeds $5,000, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Linda Lewandowski.
Yes.
Chester Shell.
Yes.
Blaine Lane.
Yes.
James Freeland.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Joyce Dotson.
Yes.
James Wilson.
Yes.
Jeff Barger.
Yes.
Paul Powell.
Yes.
Michael Hudson.
Yes.
Frank Silver.
Yes.
Susie Bostic.
Yes.
Wayne Clemens.
Yes.
Tommy Johnson.
Yes.
Tom Manero.
Yes.
And Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Okay. Surplus is hereby granted. Mr. Barber.
All right, a couple other things that the Budget Committee had discussions on. We did not take action on this. I think Mr. Venero talked about it. The state audit recommendations for best practices. Now, these weren't findings, these were just recommendations for best practices. And the primary thing was, and we discussed it, and we talked about maybe coming back with a written policy. Ms. Ladowski and Mr. Cartwright had some recommendations from CTAS and things like that, but kind of get a written policy in place for a capital asset policy money limit. One of the things that Mr. Cartwright noted was that our current capital asset policy is like $5,000, right? And in today's terms, that's one lawnmower, if that, right? So they're going to get together and kind of come up with some written policies to bring back at a future time for the commission and the budget committee to discuss. Tom, did I leave anything out on that?
No, that's perfect.
All right. And then one other item that the budget committee did bring up, Mr. Cartwright had talked about, back on January 22nd, 2024, the budget committee had passed the forgiveness of the Valley Fest property, forgiveness of the debt. The property's been paid off and everything, but it was not recorded in our general, it was in our budget committee notes, but not in our general commission meeting notes. So we need to bring that forward for a general commission. And no, Charlotte, you didn't leave it out. We'll have to go listen to the tape to make sure, but I don't think it was you. Your last night though, I'm gonna blame it on you. But anyway, we need to vote on this.
And it
Correct.
comes as a recommendation.
And it comes as a recommendation. It comes as a motion from the budget committee.
It also comes as a recommendation from the audit committee to do
Yes,
this.
from the audit committee.
And we've actually already done this through budget, but it didn't make it, Tom, it didn't make it to the minutes.
Didn't make it to the minutes.
So audit caught it, brought it to our attention, so we're regrouping tonight. So we have a motion to add language into the minutes to perfect our position on this matter. Again, there's no debt. The debt's been paid. We simply need to record that the Valley Fest is off the hook. Y'all not made a payment lately, have you?
Bank has not at all.
So it's a good
Second that
thing.
motion.
We have a second from Tommy Johnson. And because it could exceed $5,000, I mean, let's get a roll call, Madam Clerk.
What happens when you make a mistake?
That's what happens when you make a mistake.
Linda Lewandowski? Abstain. Chester Shell?
Abstain.
Yes, no. Chester, I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. Blaine Lane?
Yes.
James Freeland?
Yes.
Brian Walker?
Yes.
Joyce Dotson?
Yes.
James Wilson?
Yes.
Jeff Barger?
Yes.
Paul Powell?
Yes.
Michael Hudson?
Yes.
Frank Silver?
Yes.
Susie Bostick?
Yes.
Wayne Clemens?
Yes.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tommy Nero?
Yes.
And Jeff Mackey?
Yes.
All right. And the other items that the budget committee discussed was, there was a brief discussion on our planning retreat, and Mr. Cartwright's already touched kind of on that. Planning retreat discussion, February 6th and 7th, correct?
Yes.
And then also the final item that we took motion on, and we'll bring this in the form of a motion, is everyone should have got a copy of the 2025 budget workshop calendar. And this was a motion from the budget committee to adopt this calendar for 2025. And we'll leave it right there.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second on adopting this calendar? Have a motion from Mr. Powell. Any questions? Thank you. Mr. Powell, got it in front of you there. Any questions relative to this schedule? Hearing none, all in favor of that adoption, say aye. Aye. All opposed, said calendar is hereby set. Is Ms. Johnson here with the school? I didn't see. Thank you, Sherry. I didn't see you. But we're going to attempt once again to beat the July 1st deadline for the comptroller. And this schedule is reflective of that, so we'll give it another shot, Sherry. So thank you for your help and input in that. So. All right, Mr. Burton?
That is it, sir.
All right, thank you, sir, for your report. Okay, Mr. Higgins. And Tommy, you're ready for the committee report. So.
Tommy, going first? Or?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to say is back during the last little snow we had a medical emergency out on one of the mountains, and one of my drivers had to make a decision. That'd be Kelton back there. and they had to go out. They were doing CPR on a lady that lived way off the main road, and we had to try to get in there, get the emergency services back up to them. He made a good decision. We just have to make decisions like that about once we get one of those about every storm, and we have to deal with that. But I just want to let everybody know we appreciate what he did, and we'll do it for anybody else when it comes up. All right, my report at the top, you'll see where I've started the new year. I give you a 3-month or 3-year rolling average. You can look at it. If you got questions, we'll talk about it. Schedule or attachment A, you'll see our current work activities, what we've done and what we plan on doing. And attachment B, you'll see our balance sheet, which we're in pretty good shape considering. We done did the surplus equipment list, that's attachment C. We did make some changes to the employee policy, which y'all need to review that, and if we need to take any actions on that other than us talking about it in here, we need to do that. East Valley Road Bridge project we're working on. The city's hired an engineer. They're working on getting their water line moved. They've got the timetable I've got to have to get the box built this year, and they're moving forward on that. Other than that, the surplus equipment list we've done talked about. The water line project out on the mountain, it's still kind of a headache, but we're doing the best we can. Jennifer sent a letter the other day to them, stating where our position was on what they're doing. And other than that, unless you got questions.
Any questions for Eric?
Eric, I just want to thank the highway department during the snow, just making sure that roads got cleared as quickly as possible. And also, you was recognizing Kelton. Can he give a speech?
Would you like to come up and talk about what you did, Kelton, for just a second? Kelton's one of my foremen. I mean, he's my right hand. And so you can go ahead and stand up tall, tell what you did.
Hey, Eric. Can I add something to it, too?
Yes.
The call that he went on also assisted the squad in the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
So if he wouldn't have done what he done, we couldn't have got in there to the patient. So that also helped Bucket, the sheriff's department, and us.
And I expect them to do that because when you've got a medical emergency, I expect us to do everything we can to try to get the person out. Something you want to say, anything, Kelton? I'm thankful that you did what you did. I just want you to know.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys.
And it was my fault the sun come out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm blind for that too.
There's also some potholes on Hudlow Loop.
They're everywhere. They grow like dark cancer that won't go away.
I just want to make sure you know that.
All right, we'll get it. Don't worry.
Tommy Johnson, would you come forward, sir, and talk about the road committee?
Come here, I'll share this podium with you. Come out here. Which side you want? The right side. Okay, yeah, I'll hide part of it. Go ahead.
All right. On behalf of the road committee, we're going to bring forward several items we need to take action on tonight. The first is one of the agenda items on our full commission agenda, which is the passing of resolution 800, which is mineral severance tax levy. You have a copy of that in your packet. On behalf of the road committee, this does come in the form of a motion that we adopt and support resolution 800 as a mineral severance tax levy.
You've heard the motion. Do I hear a second? I have a second from Michael Hudson. Any questions or discussion about this particular item?
Do we have an idea of what possible revenue generation this would be on this tax?
I think it's going to be around $150,000 a year, which will help us a lot on our smaller side roads. But now that's just a guess. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
and then that's just
until
based
you
on
actually get doing it. I know you're not going to really know.
That'd be optimistic.
Yeah, I think it's optimistic. I'm going to keep.
Marion County takes in about 9.
Yeah. Well, he told me they get like $30,000 every month or so. I forgot. He told I asked him the other day.
Okay.
So a point of clarification, Paul will get to you just for the audience. What this resolution does, I'm going to read section number 1, which is really the synopsis of what this does. Under Tennessee Code annotated 676201, authorizes a county to levy a tax on severance from the earth of sand, gravel, sandstone, chert, and limestone within the boundaries of Sequatchie County. And this will allow a severance tax on the above named minerals at a rate of 15 cents per ton, which all of these dollars will come back only to the highway department. The state legislator changed the law several years ago, so now on these minerals, these dollars go back to the local highway department. So it's another way to help Eric and all of his team fix the potholes, fix the road at Henson Gap. We desperately need these funds to help Eric do his job. Mr. Powell. Mr. Nick.
Eric, for all your materials that you use for these repairs and stuff, is there a state price that you pay for those things? Like, because I would say, just again, I'm in favor of this in general, but what kind of thought went into like the private sector or anybody that's going to be needing these materials? Won't a supplier raise the price or to accommodate for the tax board? I don't want people to think this is a windfall.
Yeah,
it's not a windfall.
They're going to raise their price. I've been told our prices at the quarry, it's asphalt, rock, and everything is going up 25% this year. And my costs overall are up about 40% overall. Some of the stuff I could buy a dump truck in 2019 for $144,000 to $350,000 today. I mean, it's just getting to the point where it's hard for us to function.
But but the analysis overall is that the net result, even if they raise prices, should still be a net gain, or is this going to be just a war between the private sector selling rocks and the public sector making taxes? What went into that decision?
No, I was talking to Brett in Nashville today, and he was telling me that about 60 of the counties do this, and it's a positive thing for the county. And also, he did tell me the legislators taking up, they're going to look at this during their session this time, and they're going to change this a little bit and put a graduating schedule, because that's what it's been for years, and try to increase it a little bit every 2 or 3 years. So
this is designed more so to date back and repair a lot of the damage that's caused to the roads by the hauling of the minerals that come out. I mean, on a 20-ton load of gravel, we're talking $3 at this point. So it's not a huge, it's not a windfall by any stretch, but it is a way to collect some of that money to go back and repair those roads that these trucks are ultimately the ones responsible for tearing them up at the beginning.
Right. Now the only, I'm assuming, we'll just have to see how this works, but I mean, I'll give an update if we do it, and so y'all know if we're doing it, if we're making any headway with it or not, and I'll put a different column over here and call it out specifically.
My concern was that if this came back to the individual landowner, or if it came through the groups, the corporations that were moving the extract to the rock primarily, and that's been explained to me. I think that it has it does have to do with the landowner, but as far as it's a what do they call it? Self-monitoring type program that the state does a collection, and most of it comes through the tonnage that comes through these rock yards, the rock quarries, that sort of thing. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe a computer should be able to give them it should give them a total, a monthly total, or however it's got to go in. They should know pretty accurately if they report it correctly.
Right.
But to clarify your thing, Frank, yes, the end user is going to end up paying this. I mean, anytime a product in business goes up, it's a cost of business for them to produce that product, and that will get passed on in the form of price increases to the end consumer, who's ordering the rock and things of that nature. But at the same time, there are roads that need to be repaired as a result of that.
And the two biggest inputs in the county will be the sand pit and rock quarry. But almost all this money will go back to them to buy materials we need to fix Winter Rock Road, pave with, whatever, potholes, you name it. So, I mean, I think the quarries will be happy with this if we do it. I mean, I've not had a chance to talk to Jeremy, but I mean, he's going to be the biggest beneficiary of this.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second on the floor. Mr. Hudson had the second.
Can I?
But
I don't know if the audience has a chance to make a comment on that, but it seems like our biggest business that we're going to charge the tax is also a client that we're going to buy the rock from. So as the commissioner over here states, it seems like I don't know that that's going to be a win-win if we're charging them 15 cents more per ton, and then we're going to have to buy rock from them, and they end up charging us back as a county 15 cents more per ton or 30 cents more per ton. Where's the
Marion County, a lot of rock goes to Hamilton County because nobody buys from Boca and they're too expensive.
So they sell a lot more than
They sell more outside of the county than they do inside of the county.
Well, the biggest thing with is the allocation, which comes back to the highway department, not to the general fund of the county. It specifically goes all to the highway department. So it's swap and spit, to your point, Mr. Chastain, so to speak. But that's what it is. But, you know, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other comments?
this does require roll call.
It does. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Linda Lewandowski.
Yes.
Chester Shell.
Yes.
Blaine Lane.
Yes.
James Freeland.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Joyce Dotson.
Yes.
James Wilson.
Yes.
Jeff Barger.
Yes.
Paul Powell.
Yes.
Michael Hudson.
Yes.
Frank Silver.
Yes.
Susie Bostic.
Yes.
Wayne Clemmons.
Yes.
Tommy Johnson.
Yes.
Tommy Nero.
Yes.
Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Resolution 800 hereby passes. Mr. Johnson.
Next will be Resolution 801 for consideration. That is the county right-of-way regulations. This resolution has been heard twice now in road committee, and it comes as a recommendation, a motion out of the road committee to pass Resolution 801.
Do I hear a second? Have a second. Any discussion? Mr. Bonero.
So, I guess I'll hit all the commissioners talk to the utility districts about this by show of hands. Okay, I suggest you do that. Jeff and I have been inundated in the last hour of this meeting from our utility district representative, Steve Farley. His utility district vehemently opposes it. Again, there's no chance to get an explanation for the reason. Did the road committee invite the utility districts to speak at the road committees?
Let me say this. We have been in Northwest Utility.
Okay.
Also Walden, we've talked to specifically about this. That's the only two I'm aware of.
Okay.
Linda.
Northwest told me they were okay with it.
Okay. Well, that's part of the issue. And if you have a utility district that's not, I would say would warrant some more discussion. His concerns were that, much with the previous levy, is that his exact words were water rates will go up to the consumer because they'll require more personnel and more implementation and implement regulation. My personal opinion of 801 it's very punitive in nature to a whole group of people. A violator of the damaging the road should absolutely be fined, punished, whatever it is. But you're lumping an entire group of projected purveyors and saying you got to do A, B, and C. I've sat here for 12 years, and at one point, regulations and codes were something I would consider. That was blasted out. We don't have codes and regulations. This is a Pandora's box to all that. Yeah. Is the pickup truck driver that's going down the road that may damage the road or hit something, is he going to be having to do a permit? I'm not saying it's not a general idea. This particular resolution, the way it's drafted, first of all, anytime a resolution is 10 pages, as a lawyer, I question the length. Why is it so long? What's all the meat in here? And I just think, I would say, I will vote no unless it's tabled for further discussion. I'd actually like to hear in public the water utility districts say their yeas and nays, or then a more intelligent vote can be had on it. Because the way it's written, and if my utility district had no voice, certainly as a district representative, it's an absolute no. But I actually would like to hear more from the utility districts themselves. And I apologize, I missed the November meeting. I guess this was discussed there. I mean, that's neither here nor there. But if any of the commissioners have not talked to utility districts, I'd be mindful of putting your foot forward before you've had that discussion and say, what's the yeas and nays for this?
Well, we're going to have to do something because they're cutting our roads. We don't know about it. And we're going to have to get to a point where you can't just open cut a road when you can bore under it because it's costing them us money.
You can say that they have to give notice, which you have then the right to supervise, but to just say, make a permit, here's the next step, you have to have engineered plans. I mean, I don't even think utility districts are really
I think
equipped to even
engineering
meet some of
plans
this.
need to be more for like these big projects like we got.
Well, I know, but
going
that's
on.
not what it says. This calls for detailed plans. So I'm just saying, I think this needs to be modified.
I'm just telling you, that's the set of standards that all the other counties that are doing this are doing.
Well, I'll add to that as well. It seems, I agree with Mr. Venero. It seems very punitive in nature. The original discussion on this, just to give a background and history, was the project on Lewis Chapel. I guess it was Northwest Utility that had done that, and they went along and did things along the side of the road that should not have been done. Too close to the road, things of that nature. I want to look, instead of going through and penalizing the local utility companies, which again, it goes back to the same thing that we have with the tax, that ultimately gets passed on to the ratepayers, and it would necessarily have to increase water utility rates to be able to go with all of the regulations that are on here with permits and everything else. I would recommend personally at this point in time that we just table this and discuss further with these utility companies and come up with a middle ground that we can actually hang our hats on. And I would be in favor at this point of tabling this.
Well, the only thing I got to say about that is I got pictures of pipes where these people you're talking about, and everywhere in this county where they took a ditch witch and went right through my drain pipes, and you've got this water line in the center of my drain pipe, and it's stopping up constantly, and then I'm out here trying to battle to get that water unstopped.
But you need a resolution.
And there needs to be a way to get their attention, and that's all we're trying to do.
Well, I understand that, but the way this is written, it goes way beyond that. It seems like that we have to have permits to do any type of work. The way this is written, to put a simple water line into somebody's house would cost $200 in an engineered drawing that may or may not even affect a county road. From that point, typically meters are off the side of the road and everything else. So we look at this as I want to make it more of a punitive thing, to where if these guys come out and they damage a road, then we have some mechanism to go back and make them pay for it. And they should, for major projects, they should have to provide some type of a notice to the highway department that they're actually getting out and doing work on that, so that we know about it and we can either supervise them or come up with some guidelines as to how that does. Because it is ridiculous, they're digging through your tiles and everything else. And we noticed a lot of this has happened up on Lewis Chapel. That's ridiculous. But also, at the same time, adding fees upon fees to water utility companies will have the only effect that will have on water rates is to send them up as well. Things cost too much as it is now. I don't want to pay more money.
The small water lines that feed houses are not a big concern to me. It's mostly the mains and the way that they go about.
Well, I understand that they're not, but it's in here, it's in the resolution.
That's why this needs to be tailored, where it doesn't throw everybody in it. And again, I'm not saying this will not ultimately pass, but if you haven't talked to your utility district, and our utility district says absolutely not, without them being heard in a larger voice, how can you vote for something like that? We're listening to our constituents. That's all. If everyone else is talking to utility districts, and Jeff and I are the only ones that didn't, then we're the two no's. But I don't think that's the case.
So first of all, I think you need to look at the other side of the coin on this. So it may cost an amount of money. That amount of money is for Eric's people. I'll let him address this, to cover their time. This went through legal review locally, as well as the road expert lawyer up in Nashville. And this document in that format were things that they basically, it's a template. But then it was, obviously
Remember, we're
tailored to
not
our
Hamilton
situation.
County, not to interrupt, we're not Hamilton County.
No, we're not Hamilton County, but this is the template that was given to us by our technical experts. We're not lawyers, we can't write this. But it also went through double legal review, actually. The flip side of this, what's happening up in Lewis Chapel, is nothing was coordinated with the road supervisor. We noticed it when we were driving around, and they were already cutting the road. They were not even following their drawings. So the main point of this is to hold people accountable to the standards that if they do digging, they float a performance bond. The bigger issue is really so the roads get fixed and they get fixed properly to the standard. And there's proper notification up front. What it costs to offset, you're talking about $200, $35 to pull the permit or to register for the permit. That compared to how much it's gonna cost to fix these roads now, over and above what Eric already had planned to do those roads is way more, way more.
I
And
fixed a
that's the issue.
100-foot section where they went right beside the edge of the road. And when I called them, I said, that road's gonna break. Within 3 days, the road broke off. It cost $20,000 to fix the road back where we could function because we were about to pave it. Okay, but hold on, listen up. And all we're asking is, the fees and stuff, I'm not that, I mean, anything like that can be worked out, but they're gonna have to start carrying some sort of a surety bond or a performance bond, and they're gonna have to take the written directions we give them, like when they can bore, they need to bore under the road instead of open cutting the road and nobody knows about it until I run over and about bust my tires in it, like we did down here at John Bird's.
Yeah, you're talking about a notification. Not, this is excessive for what you're actually asking for. And for 100 years, we've never required this. And to say in 2 meetings without actually talking to the people that be most impacted, let's just change it. That sounds pretty contrary to most of the first district's opinion on how to handle things. And so I would say it just needs to be tabled
That's fine, as long as
to
they
discuss.
they pay for it.
And the utility districts don't come in. If they choose not to come in and speak, then their voices have chosen not to be heard. That's all I'm saying. It's not saying that this isn't needed or required. I don't think the due diligence has been done to talk to the parties most affected before we can pass it.
And we get our packets at least a week.
Well, there's some people that's not gonna want it no matter what we tell them.
Road committee met twice and never met with the Cable Fredonia utility district. And I'll ask any other commissioners, no one raised their hand, so none of us talked to any of the districts. I'm just asking,
I mean, let's
as a
go
show of
talk to
hands.
their constituents, but something's gotta be done, I mean.
I agree, so let us talk to the constituents.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, there's a first and a second, any other comments?
I also have a motion to table it. Can I make that motion?
Well, we're going to handle this motion first. We know that's coming next if this doesn't pass. We have a motion second on the floor. Any other comments relative to this? You've heard all sides. So, Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask for a roll call on this, on Resolution 801.
Resolution 801. Linda Landowski?
Yes.
Chester Shell?
Yes.
Blaine Lane?
No.
James Freeland?
No.
Brian Lawfer?
No.
Joe Stotson?
No.
James Wilson?
No.
Jeff Barger?
No.
Paul Powell?
No.
Michael Hudson?
Yes.
Frank Silver?
Yes.
Susie Bostick?
No.
Wayne Clemmons?
No.
Tommy Johnson?
Yes.
Tom Nero?
No.
Jeff Mackey?
No.
Eleven to 5.
Got 11 no.
11 no to 5.
1, 2.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion, another motion to table it and.
Yes, I'll make a motion to table and
Second.
table with the opportunity to amend Resolution 801 after the utility districts or any other concerned party has been able to give us.
So you're talking about an amendment, not a total new resolution, just an amendment.
Right, just an
Correct.
amendment.
Will you change that to postpone? Table means it won't come up again.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
A motion to postpone.
Thank you.
To
Postpone.
amend Resolution 801.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Do I hear a second? Have a second
Second.
from Mr. Powell. Any questions relative to that, Ms. Joyce?
This is off the law, but is it even possible, there's a possibility we're not adjourning tonight, that we can take care of this soon?
Possible.
In the next week or so?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
Absolutely. On the 6th.
Yeah, we can even say the motion expedited to the 6th. And that's what, the
Yeah,
utility district
I
is
think-
invited to the utility districts to be invited to our thing to
Yeah,
address that at
can we
that
do
time.
that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the
So
motion.
the 6th is the day that we're planning to come back and do a,
We will not adjourn this meeting. We will recess the meeting. Jennifer's going to go over kind of that in just a few, but we put proper notice in the paper. And,
Okay.
we'll get to that.
So that would be on the 6th that we would,
That's
that we would
correct.
do that. I think that's a great thing to do and add that to the planning session as well. It gives us a chance to talk to everybody.
Well, and hopefully in 2 weeks, no one will rip up any roads.
There's a motion second on the floor. Any other comments?
It's happening right now, by the way, Tom.
You don't need this resolution to stop that though. She's a lawyer, no you don't. For someone that's doing something illegal or damaging other property, you don't need a resolution to take causative action.
Point well taken. Mr. Higgins and Ms. Mitchell is in the process of trying to get it stopped now. We're not being able to get it stopped.
I have tremendous faith in Ms. Mitchell.
Well, and yeah, we literally just sent a letter this week to their attorney because there are a lot of things that, you know, having proof and going to court, we're trying to work this out. So, and I think there's been meetings with Alex and, you know.
And would you agree that this resolution wouldn't make your case any easier today by passing it? What would that do?
I mean, I'm not gonna, y'all vote. I'm just gonna say, we're not filing the lawsuit tomorrow. I'm not gonna get involved in the vote.
Great answer.
A motion is second on the floor to postpone this until the 6th. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Very good. Motion hereby passes. We'll take this up, postpone it until the 6th. We'll take it up then. Mr. Johnson.
Next coming from Road Committee is a motion to accept Welch Chapel Cemetery Lane adoption. There's approximately 300 feet that we have an affidavit from Mr. Roy Johnson that the county had done work on this road previously in years past. And so this motion is to adopt it onto the county road map per the affidavit and Mr. Higgins' suggestion.
Do I hear a second? I've got a second from Jim Bo-Brillen. Any questions, comments? Pardon?
We're taking this road on, or we're taking?
Yeah, we're taking it on. We've always taken care of it. We actually paved it according to road. It's 300 foot, it's like 8 feet wide. It's not very much, but it allows access to their cemetery behind the church. We just never picked it up. You've heard the motion from the road committee. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say.
Who's the second?
Jimbo was the
Okay,
second.
sorry, I want to be sure.
Jimbo was the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Said road is taken on, and that is Welch Chapel Cemetery Lane.
Next from Road Committee is a motion to accept the removal of Boston Hill Road. And there's a section of it at the end of it where one single property owner owns all 3 sides of the road. It's approximately, where was that footage, Eric?
We talked about it. It's like it's less than 2/10.
It's about 1,000 feet of road that will be
1,500 maybe.
removed from the county roads and be made into a private road. That is in form of a motion from the road committee.
For the motion, I have a second from Mr. Clement. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of re-privatizing this road, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Said road is hereby given back, Mr. Johnson.
And the last item is a motion from the road committee to give County Executive Cartwright the authority to negotiate and execute any contracts needed for TDOT for a project in the middle of town where they're needing approximately 86 square feet of county property in front of the library along US 127. That's in form of a motion to give County Executive Cartwright the authority to execute.
You've heard the motion from the road committee. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a second from Miss Susie Bostic. Any questions or comments?
What are we claiming here now?
Well, this is part of we got a call from TDOT today. They're putting a new red light. The city has got a grant in the middle of town on the crossroads of 127 in Cherry. It's about a $650,000 red light. They need a little more right of way that we own, and the county owns the library. This doesn't get into the building, but it gets into some of the sidewalk. So they need approximately 86
86
square
square.
feet, more right of way to make this thing, to perfect what they're trying to do. So I'll be given the authority, I'll be working with Jennifer to overlook what their request is.
Anything to improve it.
And improve. Any other comments? Have a motion and second on the floor. Because it exceeds potentially $5,000, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Linda Landowski.
Yes.
Chester Shell.
Yes.
Blaine Lane.
Yes.
James Breland.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
Joyce Dotson.
Yes.
James Wilson.
Yes.
Jeff Barger.
Yes.
Paul Powell.
Yes.
Michael Hudson.
Yes.
Frank Silver.
Yes.
Susie Bostic.
Yes.
Wayne Clemens.
Yes.
Tommy Johnson.
Yes.
Tommy Nero.
Yes.
And Jeff Mackey.
Yes.
Motion hereby passes. Mr. Johnson, would you comment, please, quickly, because we have a speaker on Goose Creek, just where that stands, and also go ahead and handle Stone Creek just in the year that we have to oversight that.
So both Stone Creek in District 5 and Goose Creek in District 1, the road committee heard both of those roads tonight. Mr. Higgins has verified all paperwork is done, that the roads meet standards. They go into a 1-year waiting period per the road rules. Mr. Higgins will watch those for the next year, and they will come up before the road committee January of 2026 to be made part of the county road map.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Is there any other elected official or department head that would like to speak? Okay, thank you. Moving forward into new business, the Sequatchie County Clerk appointment, let me make a brief announcement. That and the appointment, number 6 item of the 4th District Constable. I failed to get proper notification in the Tribune. It's the TCA code is quite clear on that into a local newspaper in a timely manner. So therefore, this meeting tonight will be recessed. We'll pick this up on the 6th at SBC. Jennifer, would you like to comment first?
And that'll be at 1 o'clock. So it'll be in the Tribune this week, the vacancy for Miss Charlotte, and then the vacancy for the constable will be published. And we will have a working session. I know you all know about that. But the actual commission meeting will start at 1 o'clock, and we'll do those 2 items and the resolution, and then adjourn the meeting and then go back to the working session, and then you'll go into Friday. So the commission meeting will just be brief.
And it just basically, Jennifer wrote this pursuant to Tennessee Code. The Sequatchie County Commission will fill the vacancy open for the office of County Clerk for Sequatchie County on Thursday, February 6, 2025 at 1 p.m. CST at the Sequatchie Valley Electric Cooperative Building, 97 Resource Road, Dunlap, Tennessee. This vacancy occurred due to the resignation of Charlotte Cagle. And right behind that, I've got an updated letter from January the 23rd to the Sequatchie County Executive and Commission due to the issue transferring the county clerk's position to someone else. There is a need for me to remain in office until February the 6th. So we talked her into staying an extra week. And this is it just to be in compliance with what we're trying to do here. So
Now, if we recess that meeting on the 6th of February till sometime in 28, would she stick around till then?
Well, she'll have to. Just keep pushing it down the road. So we got through that. So we've already adopted through budget, through the commission, item number 2. Anything else to say about that, Jennifer? I think that covered it well. Number 2, we covered the budget adoption calendar. Number 3 is Rick Weld. He was here earlier. Rick, would you stand up? Thank you. I was looking right past you there. We appointed the opioid committee back in November, wasn't it, or September? I think it was November. And I left one spot out, and we've spoke with Rick. Rick brings a great perspective to our committee. We're excited about him joining this committee that will give away some $400,000 to $500,000 of opioid money in the near future. So we appreciate your willingness to serve. Checks in the mail, but we appreciate Rick. So I'm highly recommending Mr. Webb, and I'll entertain a motion to add him to the opioid committee.
moved.
I have a motion from J. Mack and a second from Paul Powell. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, welcome Mr. Webb to the committee. And Linda Lewandowski is the chairman of that committee, and I appreciate Linda's service. There's a lot of work to this committee. That's the reason I could have done this, but there's a lot of work to it, so I talked Linda into doing this. But I really appreciate it. But there is a lot of information giving away some $500,000. Now, this committee will make recommendations. The county legislative body will have to approve any recommendations they make. So that's how it works. Okay, we've covered resolution 800 and 801. We've also postponed postponed the appointment of the constable. Now, this constable is from the 4th District. Joyce, I know you guys have been interviewing some folks, and you'll have a recommendation for this splendid group on the 6th. You and J.W., right? All right, Mr. Wilson, we're going to put you on the spot here. Let's want to see. Okay, I want to take just a few minutes, County Executive, to address the commission on just a couple of items. And I want, because of some of the folks that spoke earlier about the roads and damage, and I've been able to live in different places in my life, and anytime there's growth, and we are experiencing a lot of growth, especially in the 1st District. The guys, you know, and I know many of you are seasoned and salty, we're going to have roads torn up, mailboxes dropped down, tear down tire poles. It's coming because of that said growth. Mr. Chastain, I like what he said. We still want to be free here and not over encumbered the citizenry. You know, there's a balance, and we're going to find it. We're working on it. So I'm just letting you know that there's going to be issues and problems, and this won't be the last time you're back here speaking in front of this county legislative body. But we welcome you. You know, the people should tell government and run government, not the opposite way. I want to talk about one other item, and my good friend Darrell Jones wrote an article in the paper announcing his flying community down here at the south end of town, and there's a lot of issues here. Let me say first, these are just some of the facts. We invited Darrell this past Friday. We hold a roundtable discussion every Friday at 9 a.m. in my office. The city mayor, Clint Huth, and I host this. We've been doing this for some 10 years, going back to Dwayne Land's tenure. It's been quite enjoyable. We hear a lot. We take no action, but we have our ears open. But we learned a lot from Mr. Jones, and whether it be Mr. Jones or someone else, folks, we can't build a wall around our county. As I said, the flag's still flying. They're coming in here. And so the facts are Sequatchie County has zero control over what a private citizen wants to do with his property, except when it entails health and welfare issues. There's no zoning, codes, permitting, and you know, that's the reason a lot of folks are flocking here from over-regulated areas of the country. Mr. Chastain was one of those folks. You know, so we come here, we still want to be free here, so we will find a balance. We'll strive to do that, and we need your help in doing it. The proposed property has issues that he presented the preliminary plat, but I'm an old developer, and many of you now are developers and do certain things. The property, he bought an old farm, a lot of it joins a creek, and a lot of this property is in a Zone A floodplain, which means there's no flood elevation established. He'll have to have state engineers raise his level to about a 40-acre site, some 3 foot. That's going to get expensive. So I think the preliminary plat is probably going to stay preliminary, because those costs of doing that, as many of you know, will be very, very costly. So, you know, again, the flag's flying, you can put in the paper what you want to, and he's a private citizen. So we enjoy, and we will enjoy the tax base that he is creating with his private capital money. He's going to invest $100 million in our county, but a lot of these things, you know, I don't see coming to fruition. So everybody stay calm. I mean, but you know, nobody wants to tell you what to do with your property, but I'm just letting you guys know the county has no authority. Now, for the fly-in, he'll have to get a TDOT permit. He'll have to meet standards that the FAA sets. He'll do all that. There'll be enough of them to keep him busy. So, but the county has no regulations. And for one, and I sit here and tell you, we need a few regulations, but zoning, building codes, things like that it's going to involve building buildings, putting staff there, raising taxes to pay for all that stuff. I don't know if it will collect the fees enough to pay for the zoning and all that. So we're taking this year by year, election by election, but guys, growth is coming, and that's my bit. So we'll continue on through the commissioners to monitor what's going on in our county. So that's my bit. And so what we will do now is appointment of notaries. Madam Clerk.
All right, we have several. Let's see here. What's the list there? Okay, we have Misty Smith, Vicki Youngblood, Tanya Johnson, Lisa Barker, Zachary Harmon, Vivian Hurley, Janet P. Tilley, Marissa Hales, Ashley Dean, Cassie Cooley, Kimberly Girdley, and one very unsavory person, Jennifer Mitchell. So drastically, y'all did approve those people.
Commissioners, what say you? Motion to approve by Mr. Breland, have a second from Mr. Powell. All in favor say aye. Aye. Of these suspicious characters. Motion approved. Mr. Vanera.
Just so, I mean, I ask that you please set a time for that conference for the utility district to come based on schedule. And I want to thank you for the reminder about the no codes. We should have been a little more vocal during the 801 discussion. But we will get the 801 right. This isn't about not doing it. But as you said, we have nothing to work off of. And this is the first foray into that. So I appreciate you reminding the public of where we stand from a code and flag flying freely standpoint. But I would ask that we set a specific time, maybe on the February 6th, so we can all report to our utility districts. This is when it comes. So if we want to look at that schedule.
Well, let's get to
1 o'clock.
You know, the meeting's at 1 o'clock. We might even have your utilities. Let's invite those guys there for lunch at 12.
Okay.
And
That's perfect.
Let's get them there at 12. It gives us an hour, and we need to reach out each of you that represent or have utility districts in your in your district. Reach out to them and get them a copy of this. Let them look at it and see their concerns. Let's bring them in. And if they don't show up, I mean, you know,
they're out.
They're out.
Yep.
So we'll take this up on the 6th, and it's a good point. Okay, so as chairman of the commission, we hereby recess this meeting until February the 6th. Counselor, anything to add to that?
1 o'clock.
We stand recessed.